great state of Texas. And this should be a picture. There's a picture of my family. Aren't they so precious?
Yes.
Woo!
My husband, Adam, and I have been married for 23 years this summer and are raising two amazing children, our teenage son and his younger sister. I'm a small business owner, and Adam is an educator. We own a home, go to church, drive a minivan, and have 3 rescue cats, Peaches, Burgers, and Chunky Jeff. We love our children unconditionally. And in many ways, my family is just like yours. However, one of our children, our 16-year-old son, is transgender. Our love for him is no different than the love you have for your children. But in the eyes of some politicians, including my governor, Greg Abbott, and the previously impeached, suspended, and currently criminally indicted Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who coincidentally was actually a dinner guest in our home in 2016, specifically to meet my son. According to them, having a transgender child makes us criminals. A little over 2 years ago, after receiving a legal opinion from our former dinner guest, Paxton, saying that we did not have the right to affirm and support our teenage son, Governor Abbott ordered the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, DFPS, to investigate parents of transgender children for child abuse. Within 72 hours, I received a call from a DFPS caseworker explaining that she was 30 minutes away and was coming to investigate us for child abuse. I couldn't breathe. I could barely, this is hard, sorry. I could barely get the words out to tell Adam over the phone what was happening. I could barely get the words out to tell my husband what was happening. He dropped everything, of course, and met me at my small business just a few minutes, literally just a few minutes before the caseworker did. We listened in absolute horror as she explained the charges against us, and we scheduled a home inspection for 48 hours later. The investigation, as you can imagine, was a nightmare. Imagine having an agent of the state literally ring your doorbell and enter your home in order to tear your family apart for doing nothing more than providing your children with the love, care, and resources they need to thrive. Before she left, she told us, quote, "You have wonderful children. Clearly you're doing something right." Nevertheless, DFPS refused to close our investigation for more than 100 days. We were faced with 2 awful decisions: stay and fight as long as we could, or flee our home like countless of our friends and fellow Texans have already done, and become internally displaced political refugees in the United States of America. We have chosen to stay and fight because our rights matter regardless of our zip code. I need people everywhere to understand 2 things. First, that if the government can come after my family and threaten my parental rights, they can and will come after your family next if they haven't already. To assume assume that what my family is experiencing can never happen to yours is simply untrue. These attacks don't end with trans kids, y'all. This is just the beginning. Just as we've seen with Dobbs, it doesn't end with banning abortions. It morphs into banning medications, banning birth control, banning bodily autonomy, limiting people's ability to even access this care, to travel, to access this care. These attacks don't end here. Republicans are just getting started unless we stop them. The second thing I want everyone to understand is that every community, including yours, is just 1 or 2 elections away from this kind of tyranny knocking on your door too. You are 1 school board election away from banning books and pronouns. You're 1 city council election away from repealing your city's LGBTQ non-discrimination ordinance. You're 1 legislative election away from restricting trans kids' access to life-saving health care, and we are all 1 presidential election away from Project 2025 becoming the next playbook for the next administration. Which is why the Equality PAC is so vital to our democracy, because you can fight back, and fight back effectively as you demonstrated over the past 10 years. To say that lives are on the line in November's election is an understatement, which is why I am so grateful to everyone in this room, and for showing up day after day after day to protect my sweet babies. Seriously, thank you. We need to continue to protect not only my kids, but to protect our 9 LGBTQ House incumbents and elect as many as 6 more LGBTQ House members this fall, including history makers like Julie Johnson of Texas, and Miranda of Washington State, and Sarah McBride of Delaware. I have seen firsthand how many hearts and minds my son has transformed just by living his truth out loud. It's hard to hate up close, after all. When you see how vibrant, articulate, talented, loving, and intelligent he is, you can't help but re-examine your assumptions and biases about trans youth. As a result, he's one of the most popular kids in his high school and is surrounded by love not only at home, but at school, at our church, at work, and in his extracurriculars. We have the opportunity to bring that same energy to Congress this fall by electing Julie Johnson as Texas's first openly gay congressperson, and by electing Sarah McBride as the first openly transgender person in Congress, period. Their voices will undoubtedly help push back against the misinformation and outright lies being told about the LGBTQ community. They will have a seat at the table instead of being on the menu. That's powerful, and that's how we win this fight for liberty and justice for all. We need to continue the gains that have been made, thanks to the Equality PAC, because families like mine are counting on you. Without your help, I fear for my kids, the future for my kids, especially my transgender son, who means more to me than all the stars in the entire sky. Please keep fighting for him. Please keep fighting for him, because his dad and I can't do it alone. We need the Equality PAC to help keep my family together and my son safe. Thank you.